Hi everyone, a quote from Carl Jung: a dream reveals to us the actual situation in the unconscious. Our eight functions can manifest in our dream. We can meet each one of our eight functions in our dreams. They are represented by an archetype, a character, or a situation or a thing. And how can we do it? Simply by asking for it before sleeping. Example, if you are an INTJ, you can ask, can you show me in dream NI, introverted intuition, my first dominant function, the hero? Or, for example, you can say, I want to see TI, introverted thinking, my function 6, the Senex, the critical parent. The relation we have with this archetype, character, is the relation we have with ourselves, with the different part of ourselves, with our eight different functions or eight consciousness. If we are in conflict with, that means we have not integrated and not accepted this function in ourselves. If we have a good relation with, that means we have integrated, accepted this function in ourselves, we are at peace with. In our dream, the function 1, the superior function, the dominant function, is the hero, heroine. Usually it is represented by a figure or the same gender as you. If you are a man, it is represented by a man. If you are a woman, it is represented by a woman. The function 2, the auxiliary function, is the good parent, the good father, good mother. Usually it is represented by a parental figure of the same gender as you, but older. The function 3, the tertiary function, is the puer, puella, the eternal child. Usually it is represented by a child of the same gender as you. The function 4, the inferior, is the anima or animus. Usually it is represented by a figure of the opposite gender, the same age as you. The function 5, the opposite personality, usually represented by a figure of the opposite gender, similar age as you. The function 6 is the senex, which, the critical parent, usually it is represented by an old man if you are a woman and an old lady if you are a man. The character is older than the function 2, the parent. The function 7, the trickster, usually it is represented by a child of the same gender and younger than the function 3, the child. The function 8 is the demonic personality. I suppose it is represented by a figure of the opposite gender, similar age as you. The function of the secondary process, the unconscious shadow side, the function 5, 6, 7, and 8 are an exaggerated version and shadow version of the 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 3 is a child, the 7 an even younger child, the 2 is a parent, the 6 an even older person. I will share with you my observation and experience with my own dreams. Even if it is private, I studied and analyzed my own dream for this video. Thanks to the INTJ, me, who sacrificed herself for the study or just for this video. Example, for me, as an INTJ girl, my NI hero was represented by a character. The man didn't answer, didn't ask questions to others, didn't share, didn't talk. He preferred understand by himself instead to ask questions or information to others. He kept his ID, thought, information for himself. And it was frustrating because I wanted to know what he thought, what he had in his mind. In two other dreams, I was in a sort of escape game, escape room, with problem to solve. The problem-solving aspect corresponds well with NI. As you can see with my first function, normally it's supposed to be represented by a girl because I am a girl, but in my case it is a man, and I think it is probably because I have Asperger, and there is a theory which suspects that the Asperger and autistic brain is an extreme male brain and maybe it's because of that my hero function is a man and not a woman. My TE good parent was represented by a character. It was my aunt. The children drew on the car windows and they were in conflict. My aunt made a decision quickly. She moved the car away from the children without considering what they feel, in order to them to not be in conflict anymore and to not longer draw on the car windows. My FI child was a little girl. I just gave her a hug. In another dream, I was in a situation that made me feel the worst, very vulnerable and afflicted. I was outside. There were a lot of light, noise, detail, things moving that reflected my Asperger condition and vulnerability. Maybe that was my FI afflicted by SE. My SE animus was represented by a situation. I wanted to buy cake for my parents. I was in front of a bakery display. The cake all had the same shape and size. What changed was the color, the taste, the flavor. After having chosen a type of cake, I had to choose the flavor that I wanted to put on top, a kind of paste. Same here, there was different flavors and colors. I chose the coconut one. I thought it was 5 euros, but it was 40 euros. I took out a paper pocket indicating 40 euros. The money was inside. The cake pieces were all wrapped in transparent plastic and they were supposed to stay aligned and stable. I tried to keep everything in my hand and arm, but it was very unstable and the pieces of cake turned into a roll of toilet paper. In this situation, SE is the different colors and the flavor of the food. SE is also the money in physical form. SE things are expensive. We pay for the taste, color and shape. SE is also keep physical things in balance, holding things in our hand, the spatial and physical awareness. The inferior position of the function or position 4 is shown in the fragility of toilet paper and instability, clumsiness. My NE opposite personality was represented by a character. It was a physics, science and chemistry teacher. I had in high school an ENTP and I dreamed that he taught the cognitive function of psychological type and I admire him and what he taught. My TI was an old man, wise. I waved at him. Behind him there was a big and beautiful golden building made of clock lined up all around. The multiple clock surely represented the relation of TI with number, precision and the mechanism inside. All the things works are made and are articulated inside at the core and probably the gold material for the solidity of TI. In another dream, I was carrying 3 shopping bags, but the object things inside were unstable, that the yogurt broke. I deduce that things are stable and solid when arranged logically, well connected in a solid and logical way, like Tetris block. In another dream, TI was represented by a big, large and thick door, so solid and rigid that it was difficult to break it. My FE trickster was represented by a character. Something happened with a person, maybe a joke. I didn't understand what happened, what the person did. In another dream, a little girl said one thing about me, said anything about me, said bullshit about me. Surely because she felt like it and didn't care to spread wrong information about me that will create problem. My SI was represented by a situation. I was at home before to go to school. I was putting in a bag sheets of paper to write down the lesson, the swimsuit, swimming goggles for sport, and like in most of my dreams that revolve around school, I was already late of 1 hour or more. The schedule of SI is precise, it doesn't like afraid to be late, it respects strictly the hours. In another dream, someone wanted to do the same thing as me, copied me, watched the same thing as me. All the dreams about SI were all inside a structure, a home or family. Another dream was a large, closed place, like a big garage or shed, with a lot of physical objects, things sorted, well organized in containers, boxes, aligned in rows. If you have neurological condition, you can also meet them in your dream. They are also represented, symbolized by an archetype, character or situation. Example, the part of me who is Asperger is represented by a black cat. In the past, when I dream about a black cat, he attacked me, but now he is always calm and I have a good relation with. At first, from my experience, I thought I could dream of only one function at a time. I quickly realized that I was wrong. The part of yourself, the cognitive function, can also be represented, symbolized by someone we know or knew. The person embodies the first function. For example, I asked to meet or see TE again, and in this dream, TE was embodied, represented, personified, symbolized by an ENTJ I knew, and an ENTP I knew was here too, representing NE. The ENTJ TE had opened a package very quickly, violently. The package was torn, almost destroyed. The ENTP NE had a rectangular plate of ice in his hands, which was melting, water was flowing. He seemed to be playing with his ice tablet by moving rectangle of orange ribbon. The orange ribbon intrigued me. I searched the signification and I found ADHD. That confirmed what I thought for 2 years, that I have ADHD and that the unconscious know everything about us. A summary of the 8 functions in my dreams when they are isolated and I prefer understand by themselves. They don't share their thought, idea, insight, don't ask questions, don't talk, they say nothing. TE solve a situation, problem quickly, right now, take the decision, act alone, without considering the feeling of other or asking other. It is about the situation, the thing. FI is about the negative feeling, feeling bad, situations that make us feel the worst. SE, the spatial awareness, physical presence, position of our body, sensory experience and detail, colors, shape, texture, what we see, hear, touch, smell and taste. NE is sharing ideas, teaching, the wacky, funny, amusing thing, innovation. TI seems to be about the internal logic of things, the internal mechanism, how it works inside, how the pieces inside connect, the stability, what is correct, precise, rigid, the solidity, hard to break, and the number. FE just says things about other people and don't care if it is right or wrong, and that it creates problem. SI organize sensory data, tidy, categorize the physical thing, information, put them in boxes, it copy other, having the same things than other, do what they are supposed to do, what society wants them to do, they believe what is fake, copy other, and what society wants them to do without questioning why. A little note, NI, TI, FI, SI don't talk, FE talk, TE take action, SE the external physical sensation, what we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, the detail, and NE is more imagination, visual projection of idea, using, exploring the knowledge, external ideas and concepts, even if it's weird or wacky. What it is interesting with these experiences, exploration in dream, is 1. We can isolate a function, to know what this consciousness is really about. 2. We can know the position of this function represented by an archetype, thing or situation. 3. We can know the relation we have with this function at peace or in conflict, and therefore if this function is integrated in us or not, projected into the external world and other people. 4. We can discovering things about ourselves, for example, our neurological condition if we have them, or having the confirmation. They are also represented by an archetype, object or situation. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.